Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if this was still a controversy or not, or a controversial subject, but I know that at one point the United States of America, the officials, those weasels over there that are in control of us, they started denying that they helped Ukraine target Russian militaries, which resulted in some Russian generals being killed. If you remember, there was two instances, if I remember correctly, when there were two American officials stating that yes, we helped Ukrainians with intelligence to strike certain kind of targets. And then I know it was, I think it was Biden who came out and said everybody should shush about talking about this subject. The same thing was about blowing up the Moskva flagship of the Russian fleet in the Black Sea. There were some reports suggesting that that was done with complicity of the US's intelligence and information intel, whatever guided the whole thing. Again, they said no, 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 yes, 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 no, no, no. Now, there's going to be a book released on the 17th of January from someone who spent time in the White House for 2 years during the Biden's presidency, and this person's name is Chris Whipple. Now, this guy, Chris Whipple, wrote a book, The Fight of His Life. That's the title. Is going to be coming out on January 17th. And in this book, he will provide some information on how much the Americans helped the Ukrainians kill Russian generals in Ukraine. So this article comes from Republic World, and it is from today, January 1st, 2023. I think this is a confirmation, if it was still necessary to confirm that the Americans are picking certain targets, and as I said before, they just go around and say, okay, you see that guy over there? Now over there, keep the rifle. All right, shoot. Great, you got him in the scope? Okay, now you shoot. I was not involved. So basically, this is what's going on over there. This guy was involved, So this is the title: U.S. provided Ukraine with intelligence to track and kill Russian generals, claims new book. A new book has revealed that U.S. intelligence agencies provided highly sensitive data to the Ukrainian armed forces, which allowed them to kill Russian generals. A new book has revealed that American intelligence agency provided highly sensitive data to the Ukrainian armed forces, which allowed them to track and kill a dozen Russian generals and sink the Russian flagship Moskva, as per a report from New York Post. Similar claims earlier led to strident denials from the Biden administration. U.S. President Joe Biden reportedly gave, and I'm quoting, presidential tongue lashes, end quote, to CIA Chief Bill Burns and other top aides in May after leakers told NBC News that the New York Times that about the intelligence sharing. I made a video on that. And I remember they were all like, oh yeah, we did, yeah. And then in 2 days, it was like a shut up order. And nobody said anything. No more leaks, nothing. All right. The report of secret streams of real-time battlefield intelligence drew furious response from the Kremlin and instant repudiation from the Pentagon, the U.S. National Security Council, and Biden's press office. U.S. National Security Council spokesperson, woman I would say, Adrienne Wilson, stated on May 5 that, and I'm quoting, "We do not provide intelligence with the intent to kill Russian generals," end quote, while White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki insisted that, and I'm quoting, "We were not involved in the Ukrainians' decision to strike the ship or in the operation they carried out." Well, how about in sharing the information? Because that's left out of this. We were not involved in the Ukrainians' decision. So we didn't decide for them. We just gave them, hey, over there it is. here, bam, bam, bam. So they were not involved in the decision, which is true, seems to be, and then, or the operation they carried out, operation being boom, zoom, bang, which is providing, which is true, but you see how it's played. Yeah, we did not decide, and we were not involved in the, in the operation they carried out. We didn't use any missiles. They used them. We just told them where they are exactly. Doesn't fall under either category here. However, the new book titled The Fight of His Life and set to be released on January 17th includes a string of revelations about Biden's presidency, including the controversial pullout from Afghanistan and other incidents from the first 2 years of his administration. The book, written by Chris Whipple, also alleges that Biden was, and I'm quoting, furious about the leaks and the public taunting of the Russians. The disclosure comes at a sensitive time. The disclosure of the intelligence sharing with Ukraine comes at a sensitive time in relations between the two countries, as tensions remain high due to the ongoing war in Ukraine and US's decision to supply Ukraine with lethal arms. It also raises questions about the Biden administration approach to Russia, which the president's having previously promised that the US won't be directly involved in the war. The revelation of the intelligence sharing also raises concerns about the political risks and consequences of such actions, including the possibility of escalating tensions and even military conflict between Russia and Ukraine. It remains to be seen how the Russian government will respond to the revelations and whether it will have any further impact on relations between the two countries. I mean, the next step is love or war. Which one is going to be? So, for me, at least, they said it, as I said, somewhere in May or something like that. They said there were two individuals, I can't remember exactly the names, but I made a video, you can check it out. And I used articles, obviously written by American media, that said, yeah, we help them with this, yeah, we do this. And then, as I said, a day after that or 2 days after that, the Biden administration, I can't remember who that person was, maybe it was Kirby. I think Kirby is the something at a spokesperson, something at the White House, blah blah blah. He came out and he said that nobody talks about this, nobody blah blah blah, publicly. This is how I remember things occurring there. Now this guy writes this book, and from whatever they said over there in this article, it didn't seem to me clear or quotation saying, yes, we helped them, yes, we did that. But I don't think you have to really wait for someone to put it on the book, in a book, when the evidence is right there in their statements, their own statements. Now, obviously, nobody's going to say, yeah, we did this, yeah, we did that. You have to, sometimes read between the lines, but I think the articles then were very clear about this subject. We'll find out, as I said, in about 20 years to what extent, no, maybe not 20 years, but maybe 7 years, 5 years, to what extent the United States Army, military, was involved, and CIA is involved in this war. Besides the fact that they sponsored the war. Without them, Ukraine would have been done in March. In March, I think Ukraine was done right then after Istanbul, I think. I think that after the delegation, the Russian delegation and the Ukrainian delegation met in Turkey, and they exchanged a little bit of, hey, how about this? Yeah, we can discuss this. No, that's not discussable. This is not negotiable, and so on. And when they came back, probably they told the West, hey, we decided to negotiate with the Russians. And the guys were like, what? Well, if you give us and you support us 100%, then we will scrape the negotiations. How about that? Could have been such a little blackmail coming from the Ukrainians, doing what they did in Turkey, not following the orders. And then probably they wanted to make sure that sponsors will jump all the way into the war, and probably the sponsors were not ready at that point. They said, yeah, okay, we're going to negotiate. Send that delegation supposedly, yeah, we're gonna close the war, we're gonna finish it. Came back from Turkey, came to Kiev, the delegation. The next day, Boris Johnson, then the Prime Minister of Great Britain, showed up with a little message from his boss from Washington, and all of a sudden Ukraine changed course. Said no, we're gonna fight. We don't agree to those points in the negotiation, peace process, whatever at all. Then, so could have been maybe a blackmail, a little way of making the sponsors, guys, if you're not gonna give us this, we're just gonna negotiate and that's it. You're gonna be failing. Or the money you put in our military and all the training from 2014, 2015 until 2022 February, that's gonna be done. We're gonna end up owning that, and maybe we're gonna be friends with Russia. So you're gonna lose us. So what are you gonna do? And the guy says, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna stand behind you 100%. Okay, no negotiations anymore. That could have been one of those things. Anyway, I think I would say it's common knowledge nowadays that information is shared. They don't, supposedly, they don't deny it in a way that they just say, yeah, we share information, but we don't make decisions for them, we don't tell them. But there were some articles I covered where they said, no, actually, they get green light or not if they should strike certain kind of position, the Ukrainians. So the Ukrainians say, okay, can we hit that one? And they say, well, I don't know. Or those guys come and say, okay, you can hit that one. Where? Well, right there. Boom. Okay. Bong. So if you think that the Ukrainian army is just by itself, I certainly don't. And to back me up on that is also retired U.S. military Colonel Macgregor, who stated a long time ago that there are advisors. There's a joint military command, supposedly joint, he said, is basically NATO dealing what they need to deal in Ukraine. But that's according to Macgregor in one of his podcasts, and he said that. I can't remember who he was with. But anyway, I can't remember. It's been at least 6 months when that, I think, occurred, or he came out and said that one. The same as with the HIMARS, the same he said. HIMARS, they're not operated by the Ukrainians, according to Macgregor, because it says it needs too much training time, and these guys did not have time to master that in 3 weekends. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.